Hi, everyone. My name is Ross Fortuné, Managing Editor of GovCIO Media and Research, reporting here at the Billington Cyber Security Summit in DC. Joining me now is Cherilyn Pascoe, Director of the National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence at the National Institutes of Standards and Technology. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Ross. It's great to be here with you.
So the National Cybersecurity Center of Excellence, how is it working across agencies to further cybersecurity?
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity to talk about the work at NIST and NCCoE. We are a part of NIST aimed to help address and solve cybersecurity challenges by working in collaboration, with experts across industry as well as other government agencies. And one of the ways that we do that is by kind of really leveraging the expertise across different organizations. So looking to technology expertise from cybersecurity vendors and technology companies, understanding the business impacts, working with critical infrastructure owners and operators, as well as understanding kind of the mission needs of various government agencies. And some of the government agencies that we're working with, just to give you an example, we're working, closely with CISA and NSA on our project on migration to post-quantum cryptography. So helping organizations to migrate to the new NIST cryptography standards that are aimed to be resistant from a quantum computer that threatens, to break our current encryption. So we're working with, NSA and CISA, as well as a number of 35 plus organizations across industry to help with this kind of lengthy migration and make it easier. We also just recently announced a new partnership focused on digital identity and mobile driver's licenses, helping to address the cybersecurity and privacy and usability of mobile driver's licenses. And on that work, we're working with, Department of Homeland Security, as well as a number of state governments. So state DMVs across, Kentucky and Maryland, to really help leverage their expertise in how mobile driver's licenses might be actually rolled out across the states. And as an FFRDC, we also have the honor of leveraging a number of interagency agreements with different federal agencies who actually work to fund efforts at NCCoE. So we're really proud of the kind of collaboration model that we have at the center to be able to really work on challenging cybersecurity topics together and advance the field.
There's a million things I want to pick apart from that. So bear with me a minute while I sort of gather in my brief. I want to start off first with the mobile driver's license type thing, just because I know this is something that is increasingly being a topic of conversation. What are the concerns there? I mean, obviously there are biometric situations, but what are the sort of cybersecurity concerns that you're initially seeing on that side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think, so there's certainly a lot of benefits first, just speaking about the benefits of MDL, right? In terms of being able to determine an identity online, to be able to reduce fraud. You can imagine, one of our first use cases that we're going to be looking at is working with the financial sector. And so you can imagine, right now when you have to open up a bank account, you have to go to the bank, show your driver's license to be able to verify who you say you are. But to be able to do that online is a huge benefit moving forward. But of course, as you said, I mean, it raises huge cybersecurity and privacy challenges. We want to make sure that we are first understanding what the scope of those challenges are and then work together through our consortium to see if there are ways to address it. And the way that we do this at NCCoE is, because we've built this consortium of different organizations, we'll sign CRADAs together to actually demonstrate, a different use case in our laboratory. So we'll go through it step by step using the exact technology, the exact, processes, that the industry will use. And so we're able to kind of test out, how to do this, and really improve upon the demonstration, and then we'll share out all the lessons learned with the broader community once we've worked the demonstration in our laboratory.
So PQC, I know NIST has been doing some work on that recently. This is a question that has become almost a one-size-fits-all for a lot of cybersecurity stuff. And in the case of post-quantum cryptography, the same thing, which is how do the good guys stay ahead of the bad guys? Because so much of post-quantum cryptography is trying to buttress against this technology that isn't even there yet.
Yeah, I mean, NIST, the new FIPS that were just released a few weeks ago on post-quantum cryptography, NIST started this effort, 8 years ago. It was an effort working with experts around the world to be able to develop these standards. And so it's really important for us at NIST to be able to, understand what are the future cybersecurity challenges as well as the current ones, so that we can keep pace with that kind of changing ecosystem. I mean, we do that by leveraging our partnerships with industry, different cybersecurity companies spend a lot of money to have their own crystal balls about where cybersecurity is going in the future. But today, NIST recently released the new post-quantum cryptography standards. And at NCCoE, we are now working on a project on migration to those new standards to help organizations migrate and make that transition to the new standards. So at NCCoE, we're working on a project to help migrate to the new post-quantum cryptography standards. And we understand, for organizations, they're dealing with cybersecurity challenges today. It's so difficult to think about cybersecurity challenges of the future. And so while we don't necessarily know when a quantum computer may be developed that will then threaten our encryption, we are encouraging organizations to start migration now. And there's little things that organizations can do, such as, determining where in their organization they're using cryptography, having conversations with their vendors. This is all part of kind of the life cycle management that every organization deals with when they are kind of addressing their own cybersecurity risks. And that's why it's so important that, we are able to kind of have this balance at NIST of kind of looking forward to, to understand future cybersecurity challenges, as well as trying to make sure that we're also addressing the challenges of today.
Yeah, that balance really always strikes me as sort of difficult. I'm always glad that I just cover it and analyze it, and I don't have to be in the thick of it like you folks are. Well,
I'm sure we occasionally get it wrong. At the same time, it's very rare for us to announce that we got it right? Because we're always continually improving upon our research, finding new things, so even when we do, are ahead of the game, there's always some improvement that needs to happen in the work that we're doing in NIST.
Yeah, it's a constant learning process, I imagine, in a way that other similar kind of opportunities don't always give you. NIST is a non-regulatory agency, and Cybersecurity Framework 2.0 is sort of what I think about when I think of these guidelines or frameworks or roadmaps to go forward. How do you get people to listen to it? You don't have any enforcement power.
Yeah. So, I mean, we do have other government agencies that are willing, to take NIST standards, to take NIST work and to put it into their regulations. And so, we've worked with a number of government agencies around the world that have required, the use of NIST standards, especially when you look at the NIST Cybersecurity Framework. A lot of adoption from other foreign governments, from state governments, in requiring the use of the framework. And we worked very closely with them when we worked to update the framework to the newest version, CSF 2.0. But, as you said, NIST is a non-regulatory agency. And for us, we take that very seriously. It's very important to our mission to be able to work closely with industry, to be able to identify, the best technical solution to a cybersecurity challenge, rather than get caught up in, the concerns around a certain regulation. And the process for us at NIST to develop our guidance is very important to us, right? We run a very open, transparent process, stakeholder-led, and really trying to make sure that we are developing guidance that is effective, because that's really how industry is going to use it, right? They're going to use it if they find it easy to use, they find it effective, they find it beneficial for them. And so the process of working with industry to develop this guidance, really making sure that we are making the best guidance that we can is really important to us. And we've also seen, through this collaboration, that there is some level of sweat equity involved, right? So if an organization is involved in helping us to kind of develop the guidance, they're much more likely to then, use the guidance as well as tell their friends about it.
Yeah, I get the impression, and obviously the CCOE works with a lot of stakeholders, that industry in the cybersecurity world, in the AI world, in a lot of emerging technology, want some standards to go by so that they're not flying blind, I guess, to use sort of outdated terminology. Do you find that the industry is a give and take on these kinds of things?
Yeah, I mean, industry's a huge partner for us. And, of course, at NIST, we have our own thoughts and opinions as well about how to draft guidance. But for sure, I mean, there's a huge level of interest across industry in helping to develop standards, to use standards, for, enhancing, interoperability between technologies as well as trustworthiness of technologies. And at the NCCoE, we're really focused on helping to kind of translate those standards into practice. So kind of addressing cybersecurity challenges, using commercially available technologies, as well as cybersecurity standards. And so in that particular case, vendors are very interested in making sure that, their products are able to help can be used to achieve, a certain standard, as well as work to, just improve, how their products are used by different organizations.
We talked about this a little before the mics got hot, but it's something that I know is a big point of emphasis of the cybersecurity executive order from the administration that has sort of gone through generally this notion that the responsibility of cybersecurity, because, everyone is being bombarded by cyber threats, whether that's social engineering, phishing, whatever. How should organizations handle that? You can only do so much training to say it's on you to make sure you don't get phished versus putting up buttresses and stuff. How does that balance from top down to individual play out?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, cybersecurity is incredibly complicated today and increasing in. We're seeing increasing threats, changes in the technology landscape. So it is really difficult for every organization to keep pace. For us in NCCoE, we really focus on, first understanding, what are the challenges that organizations are facing, and then we'll build a team of experts. We work with, as you mentioned, the larger companies that understand cybersecurity, have very large cybersecurity resources. We want to better understand what is the best of the best. What are the best technologies that can be leveraged to solve a challenge. And the reason that we do that is we want to kind of push, push the improvement of technologies, so that every organization, can then leverage, the improvements that we've gained through our work at NCCoE. So everything that we learn at the center, we then, publish out, so that all organizations can have access to kind of this, some of the lessons learned that we've gained through the work at the center, because it is really difficult for all organizations to be able to kind of stay abreast of cybersecurity challenges. And so if we're able to kind of leverage, some of the expertise from some of the world's best and then really share that out with everyone, we really do hope that it helps organizations to, really make their lives a little bit easier when they are tackling the same cybersecurity challenges within their organization.
That's certainly the way that it evolves and stuff is hard to keep up with. Certainly, again, that's why things like the Cyber Framework 2.0 is so helpful to organizations. Sherry, thanks so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
GovCast, along with HealthCast and Cybercast, is a production of GovCIO Media and Research. To explore our content, visit our website, govciomedia.com. Keep an eye out for new episodes every Tuesday. And if you like what you heard, leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice. Have a topic you want us to discuss? Contact us at newsletter@govcio.com.